this chapter, I will show you how to optimize your high poly models. Import your model into the Cinema. Check progress bar what Cinema doing. Sometimes it takes more time than you're expecting, so just wait until our all process is done. Model has been imported and now we can see it in Object section. Our model is using subdivision surface, so let's first check object information about our model without subdivision surface. And now object information with subdivision surface. And as you can see, model without subdivision surface has 380,000 polygons, but the width has almost 5 million. So we definitely have to optimize our model. If you have not any other option and you have to use subdivision surface in your workflow, turn off subdivision surface until you are doing creative process and use it only if your entire process is done. A second option, don't use subdivision surface at all and instead use Redshift tag, Redshift object, and inside Redshift object tag we have geometry, override. If you will enable tessellation, here you have 3 parameters which will subdivide for you. And in displacement chapter, I will give you even more information about this feature. And now I will show you another option. Let's use again subdivision surface, delete tag, we do not need it anymore. Select both model and subdivision surface together, right mouse button, and use connect object and delete. And now we have matched everything together, so our model contains almost 5 million polygons. And too many polygons slowing performance of your Cinema and Redshift. So it's better to use polygon reduction. Drag and drop your model into the polygon reduction hierarchy. And now your Cinema starts process to optimize our model. Again, check progress bar what Cinema is doing, because this process needs time. When our all process is done, you will see in your viewport optimized 3D model. Check your model that polygon reduction works correctly. And if you need to do some changes, select polygon reduction and change your reduction strength percentage. When you are happy with your results, select both polygon reduction and your model and again use connect object and delete. Rename your model and check his properties, how many polygons we are using now. Object information saying 450,000 polygons, which is much better than 5 million before. And as last step, I will show you how to use modeling settings to check our model. Go to the Mesh, Commands, Modeling Settings. Modeling settings working for selected object, and under section Mesh Checking, you can enable Mesh Check. And as you can see, here you have all important features which will visually by colors check properties of your model. In this chapter, I will show you how to install layouts. As first step, you have to download C4D layout pack. You can use the same layouts as I am using in the course chapters. But first you have to go to Edit Preference. There is Open Preference folder. Here you have to go to Library, Layout, and here is the place when you have to move all downloaded layouts. Close and open your Cinema 4D, and under Layout section you will see the same layouts as I am using. And here is example of Layout 15, and one more example, Layout 13. Under Redshift menu, we have Objects, Lights, Cameras, Materials and subcategory for Materials, Lights, and Utilities, Conversion. Next is Tools, Redshift Render View, Asset Manager, AOV Manager, Feedback Display, Shader Graph Editor, and Preferences. Under Help, we have Manual, Video Tutorials, Workflow Guides, and also if you need download latest version. Let's switch to Clean Scene, Redshift, Object, and click on Environment. Now we have Environment and parameters which we can tweak. Or let's try to create point light. Now in 3D view you see point light and you can manipulate with him. If you will click on point light, again you can see all these parameters for tweaking. Under materials is our main material. Now we can see our material, and on the right side our edit shader graph. Click on edit and you will get access to shader graph. Redshift, render view is the most important window where we can see our results in real time. And Redshift preferences. If you need to change your cache folder destination, global editor, IPR performance, texture cache, or to check version of the Redshift. Back on Redshift menu, click on Render View, click on Start button, and now you can see IPR real-time render. Click on Render Setting, change from Standard Renderer on Redshift Renderer, select Redshift, and here you are able to tweak all render parameters. Now you get a basic idea what everything you can find under Redshift menu, and in other chapters we will go even deeper. Now I would like to show you that I prepared for you 11 different kind of the Redshift layout. So you easily can choose layout which is the best working for you. Depends what you are looking for. Sometimes you need bigger render view, sometimes more space in shader graph. All layouts are editable, so anytime you can change it exactly as you need. And if you are using 2 monitors, I prepared for you 2 different versions of layouts as well. In this chapter, I will show you shader graph workflow and basics about connecting nodes, but we will not go through nodes parameters. We have solo chapter for every important node, so we will explain their parameters in those chapters. We need to create new material, create, Redshift, materials, material. Select your new material and click on Edit Shader Graph. Now we get access to shader graph. On the right side we can see parameters. In middle is our workspace area. On left side nodes or find nodes where we can type name of the nodes. Next is menu, classic edit where we can use cut, copy, paste, delete, tools, which we will check in detail soon, and option. Also I will show you options menu soon. Drag and drop random node into the shader graph. Edit, copy, edit, paste, and you will get copy of your node. Edit, delete, and it will delete selected node. So as you can see, under edit menu, we have classic operation, copy, paste, delete, but very often users instead using shortcuts to speed up their workflow, Ctrl+C for copy, Ctrl+V for paste, and del key for deleting. Every node has input. Click on blue area. Now we can see menu of input, so there are all our input options. Click on the red area and that's our output options. To see output in our render view, we have to be always connected to the most important node, output. Lines showing us connection between nodes. If you click on the connection, you will remove your connection. And if you would like to connect between nodes, you will just drag and drop between them. Again, click on line will delete connection. And now let's try different random node car pane this time. Drag and drop. And now is car pane connected to the output. On the right side, now we can see properties of the selected node. And as I said, the details about nodes we will have in different chapters. But now I would like to show you basic tab when we can choose title color. So we will choose greenish. Now you can see that our car pane has green color or even blue color. Depends what is better for your orientation between nodes. We can also change name, new matte. And now we can see on our car pane gets named new matte. Every single node has these options, and after that you can have better orientation visually and practically as well. You can also move with your nodes. You can reconnect them. Let's use another node, this time noise. Connect noise into the input of the diffuse base color. And now output from car pane to surface. So now you get an idea how to connect input and output of the nodes. Now let's have a look on the menu options. Auto request texture files click. And it means that every time when we will use texture node, it will automatically open browser where we can choose our files. If this option turned off, if you will use texture node, you can see you first have to go to path to select where is your texture. Options, auto refresh preview. This option giving you opportunity to see inside the shader graph preview our changes. So now I'm changing color to red, but I don't see any changes in my material preview. So back to options, click on auto refresh previews. And now if I will change color, I can see also those changes in my material preview. Next option is auto optimize nodes. Let's make random connections. First random connection, second random connection. And now if I will delete connection between nodes, you can see that it's optimized and closing not used connections. Now let's disable auto optimize. Again, free random connection. One more random connection. And now when I will delete the connections, still you can see available inputs. So if you would like to change it, you will find it under options auto optimize. Now let's go to have a look on tools menu. Click on create texture node. It will open browser for us so we can select our texture. And now we can see our texture node inside the shader graph. We can delete it for now. Back on the tools. And there we can see connect node to the output. If I would like connect my node with the output, I can connect them manually. Or I can select my node like Ars Material, Tools, click on connect node to output, and it will automatically connect selected node with our output. Or you can assign your own shortcut for connection to output, and after that you will just select your node, click on your shortcut, and again it will be automatically connected. These kind of shortcuts are really speeding up your workflow. Go back to tools, connect node output, and next to connect node output we can see our assigned shortcut. Next we have connect node to the viewport. It's the same workflow as connect node to the output, just our target is viewport. Next we have optimize all nodes, and after click it will optimize all our unused inputs and outputs. Or if you are scaling size of the nodes, again tools, optimize all nodes, it will optimize scale of the nodes as well. And under tools we have also colorize graph option. If you are changing color of the nodes and you would like to get back default color, That's the tool which are helping with. Every node has parameters. So if you select your node, on the right side you can see parameters of the node. If you would like to drive different node, again you have to select the node and you will get access to his parameters. In case that you will select different material, shader graph will automatically switch and will show you nodes of selected material. Select different material again and you can see the same workflow. In this chapter, we will have a look on render view details and also difference between progressive and bucket rendering. Progressive rendering, render preview, or IPR all mean the same, and their main purpose is to give us fastest as possible render view response. If you need to do tweaks or you are working on look development, progressive rendering giving you fast response, but the result is not perfect clean and is little grainy. That's the reason why we have also bucket rendering, which has clean result in our render view, but has much slower response. To activate render view, go to Redshift, click on Redshift render view. Here is our render view window. Scale it as you need. And click on Start button to activate our preview. It will start calculate your scene. Now we can already see how looks our motorbike. And in bottom part of the window we are getting progress info. To control our render view performance, go to the render settings. Click on the Redshift. And under progressive rendering part you have passes. More passes mean more calculation but cleaner result. Less passes mean faster calculation but little bit grainy result. In my case, I'm usually using 64 or 128 passes, but try by yourself what's better working for you. Let's go back on our render view window. Sometimes you need to restart your rendering, so click on Restart button. It will refresh your own render view. Next, we have opportunity to switch between our render passes. So standard is beauty, but we can see also our reflection, or we can even change to see our specular. Back on the beauty. Next we have RGB icon where we can switch to red, green or blue channel, or even we can check our alpha. Back on RGB. Or you just can click on the icon and it will switch between channels. Next we have icon for denoiser, but we are not using any denoiser right now. Next is the region selector. Very useful to speed up our performance because rendering will be just inside the region. Click again on region icon to deactivate it. Next we have list for camera or view option. So it's giving you opportunity to be independent from the Cinema 4D workspace, or also switching between cameras to see which angle working better for you. And next button is for lock or unlock your camera view. I will show you example how it works. Let's to make a little bit more space. Middle click will activate our other views. Select right view, but as you can see in the render view, we are still getting output from our camera because our camera is locked. So let's do unlocked. And now if we will click on the different view, you can see it immediately matching selected view because we choose auto setup and camera is unlocked. And if I will click on the lock button again, it will switch from auto to RS camera. So now we are using locked view from RS camera. Next we have bucket renderer icon. It will switch from progressive to bucket rendering. But as you can see, bucket rendering is much slower than progressive rendering. And under bucket rendering, everything depends on render settings. And how to correctly set up render settings we will have in different chapter. Click again on bucket render icon and it will switch back to progressive rendering. Next we have tessellation icon to freeze your tessellation or your subdivisions. Next we have render mode. We can switch from regular to clay render. It will override all your materials and you will get much better idea about your lighting. And we have also samples node, which will switch from IPR to bucket render. And you can see grayscale map between high and low count of the samples, which we are driving by threshold. But for render settings, we have separate chapter. Switch back to regular and turn off bucket rendering to get access back to progressive rendering. Next, we have snapshot option. It will make space for our snapshots. If you will click on plus, it will create your snapshot from current view, or you can use PV icon, which will send snapshot directly to picture viewer. Next, we have frame buffer icon, and it will copy frame buffer. Turn off our snapshot layout to make more space. Next, we have zoom and window option. You can switch from fit window to original size. Original size is actually your resolution, which you set up in your project settings. And now we can zoom out or zoom in into our original size. Next option is fixed scaling. On the right side, we get one more window, which represents size of the resolution. 100% means we are keeping original size. Left side is still zoom. Change zoom to 100. And original size to 50%. And now we have half resolution with 100% zoom. We can still zoom out or zoom in, or change to even smaller resolution to speed up our performance. Back now to original size 100. And we need to decrease zoom to see our entire picture. It will also depend on size of your window, resolution of the monitor, and project settings. Switch back to fit window. It will always keep size of your resolution, but will always fit entire picture into the window. And last option, we have fill window. So instead fit into the window, it will always fill inside the size of your window. And last button is actual render button. But above rendering, we have separate chapter. Let's do have a look on the render view menu. We can customize shortcuts or our snapshot. From horizontal layout, we can switch to vertical layout. We have option for nodes. Under view menu, we can turn on or turn off visibility of status, also render info. Turn back on render info. Next is region with shortcut or frame all. And the most important feature is undersampling. Click on 0. And I will show you now compare with undersampling 0 and later with undersampling 2. I need to unlock my camera. Now we are free to move. So now when I'm rotating with undersampling 0, in moment when refreshing calculation, I'm getting cleaner result, but a little bit slower response. And now undersampling 2, now we are getting much faster response, but little bit more pixelated look when redshift refreshing calculation. For me, it's the most important performance, so I am using undersampling 2. Back to render view menu. Under view, we have also zoom. It giving us options to keep original zoom or zoom in or even zoom out. Next, we have rotation. And you can also see shortcuts as flip horizontal, flip vertical, which we are using very often. Rotate 0 will rotate back, and zoom 100 will fit back 100% to our feed window. Next, we have settings button. In settings, you can also find post effects, color management, LUT, color controls, and all post effects controls. But for post effects and color management, we have two separate chapters, so we will have look on it later.